Hello, welcome to Catalonia Day, and where there's a lot of people going to town and not really doing much apart from sitting in cafeterias with a mask on, or actually without a mask. I'm getting funky with the bees, and I'm building and making lots of money selling carobs. So I haven't made any money for about 8 months, and now this is what you call a carob tree. A tree like this typically could probably produce about 100 kilos, and 100 kilos would be the equivalent of about 60 euros. So that's just one tree. So there's my food tunnel, which I call the Ark. And that's also looking wonderful. We're going to go in a minute, but I just want to show you the gateway to the old yurt and recycling materials and the toilet. Here we are. I'm going to build up walls around the outside of this, and then there's going to be, using old parts of the yurt again, I'm going to construct the roof ribs with the crown on top, and then weave the whole lot with cane, as I've done on the Ark. And then I'm going to plant some sort of vine to climb over the whole structure, and it should be quite a nice little private spot. It's not my favourite place though. Sometimes things have to really grow in you. As a traveller, I'm used to pooping everywhere. So here's my tunnel, and the rain, it's come down in various parts of Catalonia very strongly, but here we're just getting some dampness in the morning, not really much. So there's a kumquat. I'm going to plant that in expectation of the death of another dog. We've lost 4 this in 1 year, and on one particular day we lost a cat at the same time. So I've been digging lots of graves and planting over the top of them. As you can see, I've got corn on the cob. It's my first job ever growing corn on the cob. Very happy, and there you can see a flower of what you call a sponge plant. And we'll see the results of that. I mean, these tunnels, raised beds and everything else, requires huge amounts of water. And tomatoes, they really suffer. Look at this. I mean, I've had some tomatoes, but not enough to actually give any away. And generally, I'm just eating them. I like to forage, so I'm just eating them. And even the cow, which is drought-resistant plant, is suffering. But what I'm really looking forward to are my first melons. And I've got a couple of types here. I've got Sandia, which is a watermelon. And then you've got the sort of cantaloupe style. I can show you a picture of the cantaloupe style. Here we are. Now, I went away for one morning and I didn't water. Just one morning. And I came back on this day, and now it's really hot. I came back and literally everything looked dead. It's given it another half a day, and I think I would have lost half the plants. This is the watermelon type, as you can see. It's a male and female plant there, which you buy. I do have a few peppers and chilies. That's a sort of plus sign. And here's a cucumber. Quite exciting. I've eaten a few of those, but not many. Again, it's like a plant would produce 3 or 4 fruits, and then all of them would die except one, because it ain't got the energy. And there is a lovely marrow coming along, or courgette. Again, I've got courgette plants here, and the fruits just die off because they just aren't big enough, and it's a sacrifice, really. You don't produce fruit in your life cycle until you have a surplus of energy, and that's part of your evolution. So something you should learn in permaculture is that the only way you evolve a system is when there's a surplus of energy. So look at these. Again, all these tomatoes, which are really suffering, but I've had tomatoes off them. Beans, I think I'm growing them for the seed, to be honest. But you have to imagine now, we've just got through a very dry period. Some plants still thriving, like Tradescantia, which is a very good bee plant, and there's hardly any flower around. But I'm going to enjoy my grilled corn on the cob, I think. And my kiwi looks like it's established. if we have a good winter, I'm looking forward to going away and coming back to seeing how that's done. So, out through the indoor. I've been having recent conflicts with wasps, and they're very powerful. They just hang around bees' nests all the time, or beehives, and they just wait their time to enter and do what they want and then come out. And I've just seen them just literally zap bees out of the air. So bees and wasps, I've been infiltrating my mindscape, I would say, for the last month. And today I decided to start killing wasps that were entering my beehives. And I wouldn't normally do that because I'm quite friendly and I just like to see nature sort itself out. But in this particular case, these were weak hives. The land looks very clean, looks very nice. But it's assimilating desert conditions, to be honest, because the only thing that's really sustaining the landscape at the moment are the root systems of these plants, which are established. So here we go. Now, I've just done some beekeeping today, and they are just beginning to expand again because there are some flower around, and one of them is the carob. So the carob is producing fruit and flower at the same time. So here we are. I'm just getting my levels again and seeing where the deficit is. So I'm getting the levels up so I can put concrete in there without it overflowing at particular points. So this should be ready for an infill during the winter period, which requires volunteers. Now look at this. Here we are. I've been attacked by these buggers. You see that? They're making a... Well, they're just hanging around outside. But they're very powerful. And they don't attack you for walking past. You've really got to molest them for them to sting you. So what does well in a drought? Well, this is a jujube, diaspirals, and this actually survived. It was not a cutting, but I dug it out of someone else's garden. Nispero, or Japanese locat. What else does survive? Apricots. Apricots are very good here. Peaches, related, but not really too well. Let's look at this. This is an olive tree which for me has never produced. I think maybe once it could have produced, but not as much as this. And that's because we had a fantastic spring. But we really did need the downpours. We really just wanted a few flash storms to recharge the water. The water in the ground. Bees doing well, especially these. I've just checked them all over and I'm stealing resources from one to put in the weaker ones. And what I discovered today is that they're only just now beginning to lay more eggs. But I was on the bees for about 2 or 3 hours earlier. And surprising, I was absolutely covered in them, but they didn't want to sting me. They are very frightened at the moment, bees. They're frightened of the amount of wasps that are around. So, okay, just to finish the video. Here we are. What am I doing? So this is going to be my kitchen area. And recycling old tyres for my neighbour. I mean, if I wanted those, I would have to go out and get them, find them and everything else. But here we are. I'm cleaning up the land a little bit. It's going to be the kitchen area. So that's going to be covered in chicken wire and then plastered with what they call barro. And it's basically earth mud. Or cob. I can use a cob, which is a clay sand mix. And doing that, I'm excavating the wall here, which is right underneath a very prolific carob tree. And I've been cleaning the carobs, pulling out the rocks at the same time to get my line. keeping the big ones for when I rebuild, and some of the smaller size ones, but anything smaller than that goes over to my system where we've just come from, you see? And they get bagged up into coffee bags, recycled coffee bags. And then what I decided to do is the floor level is going to be basically up to here. So I'm going to cover all the ground that you see around me here with rocks, and I have so many of them, especially with this damaged wall on the right hand side, which has been collecting them over centuries. And I'm digging down as far as I can so I can use the soil to infill the tyres as I build upwards. And basically I'm building a drainage run around the whole perimeter of this outdoor kitchen. And where you see these holes, like here, where Dora sleeps sometimes, or here, these are the post holes. And this is going to be the entrance way. And there's my post. I'm in no rush to get these up. I mean, these have to be treated. These have been debarked. I'm almost waiting for the rain to clean them up a bit. But that will be the entrance way, as you can see. I hope you can imagine it. With the same vision that I have. And this is my kitchen. You know, I'm very comfortable at the moment. I would say there's just one thing I'm lacking, and if I don't do anything about it this year, I would have, well, I don't know. If I haven't done anything about it this year, then it's not worth doing until next year. That's probably what I'm trying to really say, which is to create sun shelter. It just gets so hot. So I've recycled an old asbestos container, and that's my washing water. And I still live in the caravan. So I'm going to go now and do a 6-kilometre walk to the sea with my dogs on Catalonia Day.